Discuss all of this now with Dr. Samah Jabr in Ramallah. She's a leading Palestinian psychiatrist, psychotherapist, and the former chair of the mental health unit at the Palestinian Ministry of Health. And for more than 2 decades, she's explored the psychological dimensions of life under occupation. Doctor, it's really good to speak to you about what is an incredibly important topic. We heard in that report from our correspondent in Gaza, when he was speaking to the psychologist, she spoke about PTSD, and that's post-traumatic stress disorder. But do Palestinians right now actually have this? Because their trauma isn't in the past. They're still living it right now.
Of course, thank you for shedding a light on this. I think trauma in Palestine can best be described by the terminology of colonial trauma, which is continuous, chronic, cross-generational, and above all, it is deliberate and man-made and intentional. It has the objective of breaking the will and the agency of the Palestinian people. And of course, it produces immense human suffering and psychological pain. Sometimes we, colleagues in Gaza and in Palestine, try to translate their pain to a language that is familiar to the world by using the conventional diagnostic categories, saying this is PTSD, this is anxiety, but it goes way beyond these conventional categories. And of course, the right mental health response to this tragedy should be different than the usual response to a PTSD that has a clear beginning and a clear end, like a car accident. Of course, in the situation of colonial trauma, we need to establish safety. We need to meet the basic needs of people before talking about any serious therapeutic intervention. And we need to provide collective treatment because the trauma is collective, and the elements of solidarity, accountability, justice become very important resources for healing. So we should not respond to this tragedy by the usual conventional therapeutic tools and techniques that developed in response to short-term trauma like a car accident.
So, Doctor, how then should we be responding to it, and mental health care professionals as well as general doctors, because you've been involved in trying to have mental health care as being a primary form of care among Palestinian healthcare providers?
In Palestine, we have been, and especially in Gaza, we have been preparing many people in the helping profession to provide an adequate mental health response to the tragedy. So doctors, teachers, family doctors and general professionals, nurses, midwives, in addition to highly specialized people in mental health, are ready to provide psychological support for people when they need it. But above all, there are contextual factors that are important for the well-being of people. We need to provide the basic needs of people. Without shelters, without homes, without adequate nutrition, there is a tragedy every hour in Gaza because people are dying due to preventable conditions. People die because their immunity drop a lot because of malnutrition, because they are cold and become hypothermic, and they die due to hypothermia. So there are contextual factors, structural factors that need to be met by institutions and by governments. And there are individual responses that professionals, including mental health professionals, general health professionals, teachers, community leaders in Palestine should provide to the personal agony of those who are in grief, of those who lost a limb due to amputation. So we need not to ignore the structural factors. Without providing the structural factors, all what we do, the mental health professionals, will not be sufficient in order to respond to this tragedy.
Doctor, you have used the term of what's happening in Gaza as normalization of the unbearable. And we talk about the resilience of Palestinians, not just now through this war, but for decades. They talk about Palestinian resilience. But is it actually resilience, or is it survival right now? And is resilience also a form of resistance?
It's both. Of course, there is a lot of resilience and manifestation of the Palestinian notion of sumud, and there is survival. And we need to know that without nourishing the resilience and the sumud of the people, it will not last forever. The Palestinians have been investing in the virtues of the Palestinian community in order to support each other, in order to be patient with the unbearable, and to do the best that they can in response to this tragedy. Faith and spirituality have been a very important element for the coping and the survival and the resilience of the people. We need to know that this needs to be nourished by providing the basic needs of people and supporting them. Let me give images of this resilience and sumud that I'm talking about. Over the past few weeks only, we saw people getting married in groups, like mass wedding. I observed hundreds of medical professionals, doctors and nurses graduating, finishing their studies. They were studying even during genocide. They were studying so that they will be in help and in service for their people. Another beautiful image was for people who managed to memorize the Quran. 500 people who were studying and empowering themselves by the profound meanings of the Quran during difficult time. So those are images of how the Palestinians use the virtues of the community and use the spiritual resources, use education, and expressing love to each other in order to survive an unprecedented human tragedy.
Community and support, so pivotal to all of this. Dr. Samah Jabr, it's been fantastic speaking to you. Thank you very much again for your time.
Thank you.